Welcome, everybody. I'm joined by Steve, and we're here to talk more Star Trek CCG, specifically the motion picture set. So I'm going to preview this to the front, but I have a pack, actually 2 packs of motion pictures, and I'm going to open one of these packs at the end of the video. We wanted to talk about the set, what's in it, why it's probably the rarest of the sort of Star Trek CCG expansion packs, what makes it interesting. So we're going to go over sort of the set before we do the pack opening. So this can be a little educational. But Steve is our grill master. No, that's not the right term. Our guide through this universe today. So, welcome, Steve.
Thanks. Thanks, Matt, for having me on again. So the motion picture expansion set. This is the final full-size expansion for the first edition of Star Trek CCG, which is what we talk about mostly on this channel. It came out in April of 2002. So a little bit of background here. You can see the stats on how many cards and the breakdown and all that. This set, so Decipher had originally this game was just Next Generation, but Decipher expanded and eventually got all Star Trek content, not the animated series, but all content that had been produced at that time. And they had not really exploited or made any cards from the movies other than First Contact. They made the First Contact expansion set, but they had made, I think, nothing, pretty sure nothing or almost nothing from any of the other movies that were out at that point. 2002, they know they're going to go to a second edition of the card game. I think they're already beginning to design it. And they decided they wanted to have one big expansion that brought in stuff from the other 8 movies. So the 9 movies that were out by that point, minus First Contact. And so this set has all of the main characters, villains, scenarios, ships, everything from Star Trek's 1 through 6, Generations, a little bit from First Contact, and Insurrection. And yes, it's just chock full of stuff. It is being released towards the end of the 1E run, so there's some power creep. There's some cards that weren't tested as well as they could have been, but probably not as bad as the later Star Wars CCG sets. But it's just a big giant set. And so, okay, why it's valuable? It was short printed. Even back then, I think I was only able to find a few packs at my local store that I purchased. I got the rest of the cards later on. So it's short printed, but it's just chock full of great stuff. So the supply demand is way skewed in this one.
Also, I think the introduction of ultra rares. So we see the James T. Kirk there. You know, ultra rares are always, this is a collectibles 101 or cards 101. Right. Like when you add in a rarity, that has to be chased, you're going to sell more products. So
that's right. So a bit about rarity distribution: 40 common, 40 uncommon, 20 rares, 33 rare pluses. What are rare pluses exactly? They vary. So rare pluses have been introduced into Star Trek CCG, I want to say like 3 or 4 sets before this. They are, I've heard, 33% more rare than a rare. And then within the rare plus category, some of them come in 2 different border colors, which we can look at later on in the slide deck, making the dual border ones even more rare than a rare plus. And then there was an ultra rare. Those ultra rares were brought back to Star Trek CCG a few sets before this. This is the most valuable one because it is very good in the game. Score 5 points each time you solve a mission can put you over the top, in a race to 100 much quicker. And then the rest of his skills really good too. Also, he's James T. Kirk, so he's most popular character in Star Trek probably. So that's why this one is very expensive now.
Yeah, and I'll just briefly say, like, I got a James T. Kirk right here, and I got it signed by William Shatner. So there's immense collector appeal. Bless William Shatner's heart. He is 92 years old, and I was like, I might never have a chance of getting a signature. So you have a bit of a cross appeal. I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, but I love William Shatner, and I was like, oh, this is an iconic thing as a collector to do. So there's also collector.
Very jealous of that one. I'm missing 3 cards in the set, that being one of them. So let's
all right,
go in. So I mentioned that it's every movie that was out by this point. So you're missing. You don't have Star Trek Nemesis, any cards from Nemesis in this set, because Nemesis came out later in 2002. I want to say like around the holidays. And so actually Nemesis was used to help launch Star Trek Second Edition. But in any case, I put one card up here from each of the 9 movies that were out. Those my iconic cards. And then they also had a few cards from the Star Trek Voyager episode Flashback, which is where this Ensign Tuvok card comes from. Because that episode was like, I think, a 30th anniversary episode for Star Trek, and it was like integrated into the events of Star Trek 6. So it was a flashback to when Tuvok served in the Excelsior during the events of Star Trek 6. So there's a few cards from that episode, and they have the Voyager logo on the top right, which means they can be used in Voyager-only formats. But yeah, so so this shows you that, like, okay, you got all the main characters in this set, which makes the value of the set really high. In fact, you've got 2 rare Kirks. You saw the James T. Kirk from Generations, a slide or 2 before. This is Admiral Kirk from Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, also a great character, rare plus. New versions of Spock, McCoy, the rest of the bridge crew, and 2 different Enterprises. Actually, there's 3 Enterprises. You got the Starship Enterprise and the Enterprise A, which are both rare pluses. And then you have the Enterprise B from Generations. That's I think an uncommon. So yeah, you have most of the cards instead are Federation or Klingon, because that's the main affiliations that appear in the films. But these have the motion pictures icon, which is this like Starfleet symbol on the sort of middle right, which makes them like almost like a sub-affiliation. A lot of cards queue off of the motion pictures icon, and then there's some other what I call like sub-affiliations in this set, like people that work with Khan or Cybok or the Son and the Baku are kind of sub-affiliations of non-aligned.
Yeah, and I'll just note that having main characters or notable characters as things you can pull is also immense appeal to collectors, to players, because there's just so many card games and sets where it's like the pulls are pretty rough. I'm thinking like Star Wars CCG Premiere, where you're like, your rare is this effect you have no idea how to use. Whereas this, you can pull characters that are iconic that you love from the shows. We'll also note that this might be a pretty rough pull with 54 rares between the rares, rare pluses, and ultra rares. So
yeah, but the thing about it, what's cool about the set is like almost every rare in this set is, if not a main character, then an iconic element of these films, whether it's like the Genesis device or like an iconic ship. Like there's very few total dud rares in this set, which so you probably get something that's pretty cool. Well, I should say also, by the way, no foils in this set, just non-foil cards. Yeah. Okay, this is my rough estimate of the top 10 cards in this set to pull. I did a quick eBay sold thing, not as rigorous as some of the other stuff you do on market research, but yeah, this is your top 10, your ultra rare up at the top. The next 3 are dual border rare pluses. What I mean by this is some characters and ships, personnel and ships in this game have a split affiliation between like 2 different affiliations. So like this Bird of Prey, the HMS Bounty, was in Star Trek 3 stolen by Kirk. So it goes from being Klingon to being Federation when he names the Bounty. I think actually McCoy names the Bounty, but anyway. So it can be either Klingon or Federation in the games. They printed it in 2 different templates, which means that it's already a rare plus, and then that rare plus is then split in half. You're half as likely to get each color one. So I think I read there was only 1 of these in each sheet, making them ultra rare in rarity, essentially equivalent to.
Okay, so we're hoping for really the top 6 cards here. I won't disclose how much I paid for this pack, but it was not free, I'll just say. So we're hoping for the top 6.
Admiral Kirk at 7 would be not bad. But
I mean, Kirk would be fun.
If you can crack it, yeah, okay. The next thing that's cool with this set is we talked a little bit about main characters, but also the movies are famous for having lots of like notable guest stars, either as villains or like in supporting roles. And so I'll go through these in a second, but like Star Trek CCG is also a cool Star Trek trading card. There has not been a great Star Trek trading card series in a long time, and I might argue that both the first and second edition of this game are the best looking Star Trek trading cards, aside from them being game pieces. So this ties into like guest actors. Okay, so these are some of the more notable people. I don't know if you can recognize them. We got Kirstie Alley as Savik, who just I think passed away last year. Christopher Lloyd is the Klingon Cruz from Star Trek 3. You've got Dr. Gillian Taylor. I think she played the mom from Seventh Heaven. Valeris is, that's I'm forgetting her name right now, but she's a Samantha from Sex and the City. And then General Chang, he's the actor from I'm forgetting my names right now, but like from Sound of Music. You got the supermodel Imam down there. John Harriman is Alan Ruck, who's also in Ferris Bueller's Day Off as the best friend. Malcolm McDowell is Soren, and F. Murray Abraham's Ruafu. So like these are like cool if you can even like get some of these autographed by these actors anywhere. That would be really fun to have.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm adding those. I didn't realize that was the mom from Seventh Heaven. I used to watch that show.
Yes. Now, little known fact. Well, also the dad from Seventh Heaven, Stephen Collins. He was in Star Trek: The Motion Picture, but he's had some problems of the legal and ethical variety recently, so he's not in the slideshow.
All right, I'm going to bring us back here, and I think we're ready for our pack opening here.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see what we get.
So, Steve, left or right? I have two packs here.
I'm left-handed. I'm going to go left.
Okay, my left here. So we're doing this one. If this is a Captain Kirk. I actually don't know where the rare is in this, so
I don't either. It's 11 card pack, I think. I don't know where the rare is. I think it might be the last one, but I'm not 100% sure.
There's not a lot of unpacking of these. I did try to.
Fortunately, these have a rarity letter for the rarity on the bottom right, so you should be able to see pretty easily.
I'm trying to.
It was a great day when Decipher put CUR and UR on their cards on the bottom right.
I was trying to save the pack, but I don't really know.
Oh yeah, the packs could be something.
All right, we're just gonna go like this. And okay. You can. So our first, can you read this?
Yeah, it's Raylan. He's a Sona from Insurrection. Okay.
All right.
Oh, this is cool. Azabur, uncommon, but this is Isabella Rossellini, I think. She's also a pretty famous actress from Star Trek 6.
Okay.
Discovery of Shakari, cool looking mission. Common, I think. There we go. There's some money. There's your rare.
Okay.
Rare plus. You got the Enterprise A.
Oh, this is a cool shot.
Yeah, a very cool shot. This one's been selling on eBay for, what did I put on the slideshow? I think it's in like the 25 to 40 range, I think. And I think Cat 1 has it on sale for like 90. Probably because he doesn't get them very often in stock. That's a good card.
Cool. We're going to finish out the pack. I'm going to set this aside. I should have brought some sleeves, but this is always fun to open packs. You're like, this is truly like pack fresh, unlike what people advertise. Mark Tomlinson.
Yeah, nice. Smooth as an android's bottom. Insurrection, named after the movie. Cool mission. Generic Klingon, I forget his name. Something.
Krang.
Oh, Jadan or Jan. He's from Star Trek 5. The Seti eel. This one's gross, but cool. This is the mind control parasite from Star Trek 2 that scared me as a kid. It's like a really cool little practical effect.
Some sort of semi-sexy lady.
Yeah, she's like a plastic surgeon from Insurrection, I think.
All right. And we're back to the front.
Yeah. Well, that's a good pack. Your rare plus there, the USS Enterprise A is a very good card, both to play with. The image is awesome, and I think I think you beat your EV on that pack right there. Based on what I think you paid for it, and then I think some of those other uncommons in the pack might also fetch a buck or two, perhaps.
So, not a bad pull. I'm pleased with this. Good. I'm just putting this in a sleeve right now before I forget, and it gets tossed in a drawer, which I would never do, but things do happen. So I have some top.
So we got Enterprise A. I put down as the number 6th valuable card in the set at somewhere between $25 and $50. So that's cool. Pretty good. Yeah.
Well, pretty happy with that. I guess you were right. I'm just going to put them next to Kirk. Actually, maybe I'll stick these in the binder next to each other.
He is the matching captain of that ship. So you can use Ready Room Door to download him and put him on board.
I'm just like staring at this other pack. I'm like, should I open this too? Like, no, I think I'll save this for another day. Yeah. So maybe we'll do another one of these in the future. But any kind of closing thoughts here on Motion Picture Set?
No, I mean, this is a cool set. You're going to have a hard time finding mini packs of these. It's really cool you're able to find them. So this is definitely one you want to piece together from singles. The singles, though, they're not, aside from the top 10s I put out, and even the lower ones, the 10, they're not super expensive. So, yeah, if you're into the classic Star Trek films, and you want to play this game, think about piecing the set together.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about with sets with ultra rares is because there's so many people that chase the ultra rares. A lot of times everything that's not ultra rare is cheap, right? Because
That's
people
right.
opened a bunch and like, oh yeah, I have 26 of this rare. It's like Death Star 2, right? Where it's like there's so many non-Vader and the ultra rares out there.
Yeah, and this is a set that's probably going to retain its value, if not go up. Sorry, hard to predict things, but like these are classic movies. People love them. These actors are cool. So I think there's a lot of intrinsic value in the set. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out, Steve. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And thanks for tuning in, everybody. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff if you feel the urge to. And we'll catch you next time.